raise the sails again, watching for the whales again, and never have to say, I wish that I had done the things that I can't do when I'm too old to play.
We are arriving, Muriel, at Freeport. I guess you know that since you're standing right here.
Yeah.
We gotta swing by this boat. This is pretty. Look at that. Now that I can see myself on. It's even a nice size. It's not too big. Curious about the split cabin and how that is down below to have the there's a spot in the middle between those two cabin trunks where you've got to duck your head and walk through and then get through to the next cabin. That'll be the one thing you might not care for.
So this marks the last bit of our scheduled.
No.
Well, no, you've got one other thing on the schedule.
Tuesday we have the harp swell.
Okay, so one other place that we have to sail to in time, and then everything else is flexible.
Then we're free. Which one right here?
Okay, great.
Hi.
Guy.
All right.
The description in text this morning was devilishly close.
We stayed 3 days in Freeport, had 2 concerts, a ukulele giveaway, and a tour of Bourgeois Guitar's shop. So it's going to be an acoustic heavy episode, which is fine because the weather really was not very good for sailing. Here's our ride. Alan Mooney is the owner of Cadenza, the music venue in Freeport. Tonight's show is a tribute to Lenny Breau, and his brother Denny is here. He and Muriel are telling stories about Lenny and working on songs in the green room.
We were playing a New Year's Eve party at a racket club in Topsom, Maine, and he was playing, and he was doing like Ave Maria, doing something like that, and he just kept going down and down and down and down and down, and finally he stopped playing, and everybody's just sitting there. Waiting for him for the next note, which never came. He just fell asleep right on the bench playing, and he got so hammered that night that the guy that hired us was really pissed off and didn't want to pay us the money. And my Uncle Paul had given us a ride there, and he's like this banjo player, and boy, he grabbed his banjo and jumped out and just woke everybody up, and we had a great time. But yeah, there were lots of crazy stories like that with Lenny.
Yeah, I heard in Nashville, that all the guitar players would be sitting around Lenny, and then he'd fall off the chair, and they'd pick him back up again, and he'd pick up right where he left off.
Yeah. Well, I like that one. Nice. That'll be fun.
Hugh, Bowden, and Sean Mencher arrived next, and the green room fun continued right up to showtime.
Working band blues, we go home. I'm not drinking it in the tower. Billy those working band blues. Play a little bit of those working man blues. Oh, yeah.
Full moon and clearing skies gave us hope for the weather for the next day, but it did not last. Had a little rain last night.
Still raining.
Here's an odd little thing. It's a pea pod shaped dinghy made by the guy who makes all these ramps. So it's solid aluminum. And you can also see, as an aside, how much rain we've had the last little bit.
Well, what you're hearing is the flukes getting warmed up. This ukulele group, the ukulele has become very popular, and we're just about to give these instruments away. So we want to thank Sam Ash and Hungry for Music for donating them, and GHS for donating these strings. And select a uke for yourself, okay? Come on up. So which one would you like? Here. Okay, great. So, take your...
Mentioned this before, but it has become empirically known that kids who learn and play music experience changes to their brains such that they are better able to handle other subjects such as English, math, writing, science, etc. So we really think this is an important mission.
You guys are awesome. You guys rock. Awesome. You rock. Leave it out in a place where you'll just grab it and play it. If you put it in the case, that's not going to work.
Oh,
Hey.
this is Brian here.
Hi, Brian.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for bringing the guitar.
You bet. I
I
hope
can't
you
wait.
like it.
Dana Bourgeois is lending Muriel one of his guitars for tonight's show. Anxious to go straight home, we went out for a little fun. We are out on the town with Sean Mencher, and we are painting the town red.
Yes, we are.
That's right, we are painting the town pizza-colored red.
You can tell by all the people that are here with us.
Yeah, that's right. This is nightlife. This is nightlife in Freeport.
This is the first part of our journey to Bourgeois Guitars. We're going to have a tour of the factory. From Dana Bourgeois himself.
So Dana, how did you start the Bourgeois Guitars?
Well, it was a hobby that just turned into a business. My father was an amateur woodworker, so I had access to woodworking tools. I really had no training whatsoever.
So far, this is word for word Nico's story. Oh.
Yeah, it's a pretty common story. In fact, everyone pretty much learned from the same book. Tops that we're sending to China.
Ah, China.
Yeah, we're building this co-produced guitar where we're building voice tops, sending them to China, and then...
What does that mean, voice tops?
Well, you actually tune them.
You tune this?
Yep.
Do you tap on it? And
Yeah,
listen to
you
the...
tap on it, you flex it. Make about 400 guitars a year. And we're actually gearing up to make more. All of this stuff.
Just doing the fancy stuff.
This is kind of like the next stage here is where the tops and backs get joined and the rosettes channels get cut. These are the rosette purflings. So, moving on, these are some more.
Voiced and sanded.
These are the boards for the rosette channels. I don't know what these are.
Looks like a fretboard to me. I don't know what you think that is.
That is a fretboard. Whatever the starting point is. Once they're all glued up, then the braces will get voiced, shaped for flex and cap. Pre-bracing, and then backs. These locating holes locate on the fixtures so the braces go down in the right location. The back also has locating pins. That's a Madagascar rosewood bag. The sides are, you spray a little water on some of them and we do some dry, I guess, depending on the species. The side is in this sandwich here, and then this is a heated blanket. And so the sandwich goes in straight. This waist comes down. This is sort of a flexible spring steel.
You do that gradually.
Yeah, you do. You can kind of like feel it. You know, as the side heats up, you can feel it go limber. So you kind of like follow it down, and then you bring these sides down. One end. And
Oh,
then
this
the other end.
this starts up here and comes
it
down.
starts up here and just goes down there, and then it sits and cooks for a while. Here are the locating holes. So the rim is cut on the CNC with the wedge cut into it. The top isn't a straight line because it has a slight arch, and the back isn't a straight line either. So those complex lines are cut on the CNC. These locating holes are drilled. These locating holes under here that have been cut away now, but the sides then get pinned through the locating holes to the block, which is also cut on the CNC to the proper arch for the model of guitar.
A lot of design that goes into this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and all of these things have to be fit together, and that's where computers really come in.
What's this guy do?
This is the shop format.
Oh.
OM45. It's got abalone everywhere.
Beautiful.
Well, that's really fine work.
That's
So basically took Todd all of last week or most of last week to line that. So the abalone comes around here. Sort of kind of copied from a pre-war Martin style. And that's all done. And he'll count the tops. Feel how they bounce. Try that and lightly drag your finger on it. Can you feel it bounce?
Yeah.
So they know what to feel for.
oh yeah.
And if it's too stiff, then they can thickness it.
You're saying you voice it once before you attach it, then you just kind of voice it again, basically.
Yeah, three stages. 3 stages of adjustment. So these are the assembled necks. The necks start off kind of like that. Truss rod is installed. And then the fretboard is attached. The head plate is attached.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. Look at that.
This is all pre-shaped on CNC. This is supplied to us by a guy who used to work here and set up his own business. He lives literally in the next town, and so we farm this stuff out to him. He also works for other guitar builders. Got a little different micro-habitats. Hey, Tom.
I've been hearing a lot of issues about sourcing and delays and so on. Are you having any supply issues?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much up and down the supply chain. It's the same thing that happened with us. I mean, we throughout the whole pandemic era, we never knew who would be coming in to work at any given time, you know, and that would be the same thing with our suppliers. Guitars sold very well like bicycles through the pandemic. It was a good pandemic pastime, right? This is a storage area for guitars in process. You just see the variety. There's a sunburst. These guitars were just sprayed last week. And this is actually going to Hong Kong.
Wow, what is that? What is that?
That is what they call ancient Sitka. It was actually resurrected from a bog, so it's about a couple thousand years old, I think. It sounds really different from anything we've used. I've played some Santa Cruz guitars made out of this stuff, and they sounded fantastic. And
Are you doing anything with tempering, where you kind of scorch the wood and scrape off the burn and all this sort of thing?
yeah. Well, we use a lot of torrefied wood, and torrefied wood is wood that's essentially been cooked in an oxygen-free environment. If you cook it enough, it turns into charcoal.
Right.
So this is a torrefied top. So
Now, how can you tell by looking at
just
these?
by the color, it all darkens.
Okay.
These guitars were set up last week. They're getting their pick guards. Some fancy tuners. That'll go on the 45s.
That's the tour.